Mr. Zumlot, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. I just want to get your reaction to what Peter Lerner was saying there and our investigation into what happened to Hin Rajab.
I wish, Yalda, you didn't have to waste your breath with an Israeli military spokesman to really get any sort of admission from them of any wrongdoing. And this is not just about Hind Rajab and her family and that horrific story, that evil that has been really inflicted on them that shocked the world. But this is chronic. This is not just even the last 365 days. This is the last 76 years. That's more than 28,000 days. And have you ever heard of a real investigation by the Israeli army and real accountability? Can we all name an Israeli soldier who has been held accountable? We have followed only the last few weeks that the Israeli public and protests and outcries because there was some questioning about Israeli soldiers who raped Palestinian detainees inside Israeli jails. And there was a discussion in the Knesset. Can you imagine in the Knesset, in the Israeli parliament, is it legitimate to rape Palestinian prisoners? I mean, so you're wasting your breath. However, what is very important right now is what you have done through this investigation to establish the facts, because unfortunately Israel has denied you, the Sky and all international mainstream media, any access to the occupied territory, to Gaza particularly, because they want to do it in the dark, because they don't want you to document it. So let me commend the fact that you have invested in this and investigated this and came up with these proofs and worked with international institutions to present these satellite images so the world knows that the propaganda machine is really what is at stake here right now. And what beggars belief here, Yalda, if you allow me, what really beggars belief is when you hear London or Washington after any atrocity, including Hind Rajab, calling for Israel to investigate itself. And after your report, I think I would not want to hear London or Washington or any other government, for that matter, to call for the war criminals to investigate themselves. They will not do so. That's the simple truth. It has got to be independent investigation. It has got to be international investigation. International media like yourself has got to have access to Gaza to report the truth. Israel and its army and its government are simply a machine of lies.
Mr. Zumlot, you and I, throughout the course of this year, have spoken a lot about the situation in Gaza. You've expressed frustration when it has come to the international community, the United States, the UK, in terms of, you know, when it has come to civilian deaths, the condemnation of that. But I want to ask you about Arab nations in this region, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan. How do you think that they have approached the last year? Have you felt that they have stepped up and shown the kind of support that you feel they should have towards the situation in Gaza?
The Arab people, unprecedented, and you see their outpouring support everywhere, in the streets, in their action, in their donations, in their traffic in the social media.
I'm talking about the governments, the Saudi government, the UAE.
Well, it varies, but we have first the neighboring countries, Egypt, Jordan, and their position is very clear, and they have made absolutely bluntly clear that this cannot continue, and they are identical in our position. As for the Gulf, the big brother of the Gulf is Saudi Arabia, and you've heard Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman only a couple of weeks ago, and you may have read an article by the Saudi foreign minister in the Financial Times only a couple of days ago, saying that it is all about a Palestinian state. Without establishing a Palestinian state, Israel will never be normalized in the region, and Saudi Arabia will not normalize relations. And now the Arab world is...
Do you genuinely believe that?
Well, I don't speak on their behalf. They are saying this publicly. They are writing this in article. It's Israel that keeps trying to play around the words and they don't want to believe them simply because Israel want to press ahead with that Netanyahu plan that you can bypass the Palestinian issue. I believe the Saudis. Yes, I believe the Saudi government and the Saudi royals that they now believe wholeheartedly that nothing can be normalized, nothing can be fixed in the region without establishing a Palestinian state. And if anybody learned any lesson last year is no matter what you do, you cannot simply overlook the biggest elephant in the room, that is the Palestinian issue. And no matter how much Netanyahu tries to be like a magician and, try to move cards and move goalposts like he did in the last few years with the main intention of blocking the emergence of the Palestinian state. Now there is energy from the region. You may have followed about the alliance announced by Saudi Arabia, by the way, an alliance for establishing a Palestinian state, an alliance that will go and encourage countries like the UK and the US to recognize the state of Palestine, an alliance that will go to the UN to admit Palestine as a full member state, an alliance that will go into an international peace conference to implement international resolutions rather than negotiate them, and an alliance that will provide assurances and guarantees, security, economic and political and what have you, to all sides, including Israel. So yes, we see energy to try and take us into a different path than where Netanyahu wants to take us. And think about it, Yalda, what Israel has achieved. In what sense? Militarily or economically or politically? Does Israel have a plan? What's the end game for Netanyahu? What is it? What is it? I tell you, if it's security experts, real experts, will tell you that they have created a huge, humongous security issue for Israel. And if it's really about being part of the region, my God, you really want to bomb your existence in the region, bombing all regional cities, Beirut, Gaza, Iraq, Yemen, and what have you? If Israel wants to be part of this region and relate to the region, the formula is very well known. There is the Arab Peace Initiative that tells Israel the way forward, and there is no other formula. That formula, quit your occupation, particularly in light of the clear ruling by the International Court of Justice that Israel's presence in the occupied territory is unlawful. Israeli settlements, all of them are unlawful, including in Jerusalem. They must be dismantled, and any third party must cease any support for Israeli unlawful practices. This is the way forward. We need multilateralism and international momentum to take us in that direction.
Mr. Zumlot, we've run out of time, but thank you for joining us here on the program.